Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks so much for visiting my channel right now. I'm super excited to go over this topic with you. So if you find any value in this, please feel free to like, subscribe to my channel for more updates and more content coming soon. So anyways, let's get started. How to buy your first property. Now, please note that this may not be for everyone watching. Okay, I understand that everybody's situation is different. This is just from my experience selling real estate and some tips that I've told my clients, when it comes to purchasing their first property. So if you want some more ideas or you want to share maybe some things that you guys have done to buy your first property, feel free to reach out to me, put it in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get started. So when buying your first property, let's say you don't have the money for the down payment. That's typically what people are missing when they're going to buy their house. That's down payment money. It's a large amount of money you need to come up with to buy your house. So step one, or tip number one, is you can get the money from your parents as a gift, or you can get it from a close family member. So borrow the money for the down payment from your parents. Come up with if your parents are hey, I don't want to just, I got to get the money back, whatever it is, set up a payment plan with them. Make an arrangement with them. Say, hey, I'll pay you X amount, on top of my mortgage every month, or maybe you pay them back when you sell the house. There's a lot of different options on it, but again, bring it up to your parents, because a lot of the times, we don't share everything with our parents or loved ones, but they're more than willing to help, especially if you're going to buy your first property. If they own property themselves, they know that one of the best ways to build wealth is through real estate ownership. So that's number one. Number two, take this one with caution, with a grain of salt, whatever you want, but you get a cosigner. So I say all that because everybody, again, is different. And I think that a cosigner is a good option when you have a person in mind, I guess, to call it, because there's a lot of trust involved in this process. Now, what I mean is this: you buy the house with a cosigner, you guys are almost like when you get a car, you're pretty much married together. You guys are both responsible for the payments, and you guys are both responsible, to upkeep the house and upkeep the property. So only do this if you have somebody very trusted, let's say a family member that you're gonna, maybe a cousin or somebody that in your family that's talking about buying a house, and maybe they don't have enough, by themselves, or they don't qualify, but together you guys can qualify and get something. That's an option. Maybe if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, if you guys are thinking about getting more serious, that's a conversation that could be had. You guys can co-sign for the house together. So again, not advice for everybody, but just that's something that I've told my clients in the past, and it's helped them. So that's another tip. Number three, you could buy multiple units. So instead of buying just one house, you could buy a property with two houses, with three houses, up to 4 units on the property, up to four units. So you can come in with a minimum down payment, just as you were going to buy a house. But now, instead of just having the house and just your income to qualify for the property, now you have the units that you're renting out. So the rental that's coming in, that amount of money, and the rents that's coming in, the bank is going to use a percentage of the rents coming in and add it to your income. So a mortgage broker or a lender could go more into detail on how much more that would improve as far as purchasing. But a client that I had, we were looking at houses for 400. That's what he qualified for. We found some units, and he was actually able to qualify up to 500,000 because the units were producing income. So every case is different, but that's an option for you as well. If you're scared about that big monthly payment, you can always buy multiple units to help you out with the monthly. The other one, number 4, buy a house in a cheaper area that maybe you wouldn't live just yet, but you could afford. So what that means is this: let's say there's a house that you could buy in an area that maybe you wouldn't live there, it's far for you or whatever it may be, but you have the money to be able to purchase it. So if I tell my clients, I would purchase a property, rent it out, for a year, 2 years, whatever it may be, with the way that properties have been increasing in value, these past few years, this has proven true that in a couple years, the property is probably going to be worth more than what you paid for it right now, right? So using that thought process, if you buy something, another property, a little bit farther out, right? then you could sell that property. In theory, you could sell that property after a couple years, have some equity, and then you buy something, where you really want. So disclaimer on that, again, you could buy something in an area that it doesn't go up as much in value. And it is a risk there as well. So it's not all guaranteed, but it's an option for you guys. So that's another way too. Buy in an area a little bit farther out and then sell a few years and get your money and go buy where you really want. Okay. The last one, and this is, I don't see it too often, but it is possible and it is worth bringing up, which is buying directly from the owner. So I made a video about seller financing, which is exactly what I'm talking about right now. But in this scenario, I want to go over it in the sense of like a house. So for example, I had a client that was renting a house and they said, hey, I want to buy a house, great. Where you looking to buy, what area and this and that. Well, they pretty much described the area that they were living in. They just wanted to purchase. So I said, why don't you ask the owner if he would sell you the house? And that's exactly what happened. The owner ended up selling them the property directly, and he gave them a portion of their purchase price for their down payment. So I can go into detail on how that works. But again, the owner helped them buy the property. So sometimes the owner will help you with the financing. The owner will help you when it comes to purchasing the property by either carrying a portion of the property in the form of a note, like in the case of seller financing, where they are the bank, or they could do where they pad it into their price, where they give you money as gift, to be able to purchase the property. So again, I can go into detail, if you guys want me to. It's just a lot to go over in a video, it's a lot to take in. But anyways, those are just 5 ways that I think that you could buy your first property. Something to think about. If you have any other ideas, or if you guys have purchased, your first property in some other way, please share it below. I want to help, somebody out there that's really thinking about buying right now, but just maybe may not, know other options. So hopefully this helps somebody. Please like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you, and I hope you have a blessed day.